Very excited. This was a goal that we had at the beginning of the season to get to the college football playoff and hopefully have a chance to, compete in the national championship.
When you look at the pressure that's on this game, how do you manage that? Because it is a semifinal game now. How do you handle that?
Just got to approach it like any other game. We know that the stakes are higher and we have to have more focus. We know that. But we can't put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I feel like there's already pressure on ourselves, playing at Ole Miss and playing in the SEC. But yeah, just take it one play at a time and, let the chips fall where they may.
I don't want to focus on it, but how tough was the lane keeping situation for you guys late in the season?
It was a little difficult and it was a little tough on the team. A lot of other people had, different opinions on the situation, and I feel like our team handled it the best they could.
And I know you guys, you said I want to come back if they let me, right?
Of course, yeah, of course. Ole Miss is home. They've been good to me and my family, and just the love and support that they show, for each game is just insane. And I love Ole Miss.
Miami's defense has been dominant all year. What have you seen from them already? What's going through your head?
Yeah, just have a timer in my head. I know the defensive line is really good and they're physical and they get to the quarterback. So just got to know when to get rid of the ball, when to scramble, when to dump it off to my check down. Just have great execution. We have had great preparation throughout the whole week. They have a really good defense and we just got to be prepared for that.
I don't know if the experiences are at all comparable, but the success you had in the postseason at the D2 level, do you think back and draw on that experience at all as you're here now?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like that's the only thing I can compare it to, and that's the only type of playoff football that I played, except for the past two games versus Tulane and Georgia. So just kind of have that same mindset that I had back at Ferris. Is just do whatever it takes to win, and that's what I was taught at Ferris, and that's what's taught here at Ole Miss.
Trinidad, walk us through the decision to come back to Ole Miss, and obviously there's some ambiguity over whether you'll be able to play or not eligibility-wise, but just why did you feel it was important to get that out there and to sign for that?
Yeah, I just felt like it was important for my team and for everyone to know that I'm committed to Ole Miss, and that Ole Miss is truly special and it's a home, and I feel like it's just the right thing to do, and my family felt good about it, and I feel like that's just the best decision for me.
How confident are you in the waiver?
I would say I'm pretty confident. I have trust in Jesus Christ that it's going to get approved, and I have faith in that, and I feel like my case is really strong, and I really don't see why they should deny it, to be honest.
Is there some frustration that it hasn't happened yet? You filed this months ago.
Yeah, I was a little frustrated, and it has been a little frustrating, but I can't let that overtake what my mindset is right now, and that's to win a football game and to beat Miami. So I would say I'm a little frustrated, but I can't let that take over me.
If you could plead your case right now to the NCAA for that medical redshirt year in sophomore affairs, what would you say to them? I
would just say we have evidence and we have an actual reasoning. There's some kids that don't have a reasoning on why they should get another year, and I have a actual case. It's legit, and I hope that they can find whatever in their hearts or in their minds that they can see that, and to see that I'm a great guy. I'm all for college football, and I feel like this year has proven that I'm good for college football, and I think that I should deserve another year.
What do you know about the timeline of when the decision will be? Has anyone communicated to you about when you might find out?
Yeah, any day by now. That's what I've been hearing, and yeah, I think any day.
You talked about Ole Miss being home, and historically Ole Miss has not necessarily been a powerhouse program, up until the past couple of years. Why do you think Ole Miss has been able to kind of ascend into, kind of rare air and play for a national semifinal?
I feel like college football has changed throughout the years. NIL changed that, the transfer portal changed that, and just the college football playoff changed that. And I feel like, Ole Miss being in the SEC, the best conference in the nation, you're going to get guys, and you're going to get good guys, and you're going to want coaches that want to come coach there. And I feel like it's just all changed, and Ole Miss has done a good job, transitioning with how college football is, transitioning itself.
Is there any part of you that wanted it out there, that you were ready to come back to Ole Miss to maybe put pressure to get an answer from the NCAA on your waiver?
I guess you could say that, but honestly, I just wanted to be out there that I was committed to Ole Miss, and that Ole Miss is home, and that I feel like that was the right decision, and I just felt like people needed to know because the timing of it really isn't that good right now. You know, coaches got to make decisions on, you know, to get kids in the transfer portal. And I had, you know, conversations with coaches, and I mean, I just felt like it was the right thing to do. I would say, yeah, I think our team was really good. Now, if you asked me if you thought that I'd be in my position that I am right now, I would probably say no. I didn't really know how, you know, I was going to contribute to this team and what my role was going to be for this team. I honestly thought that it was going to be, you know, a short yardage quarterback system. You know, Austin was, you know, projected to be the starter, and that was who they were rolling with at the beginning of the year. But you know, things changed, and it's really cool to see how, you know, the season changed, and to see the success that this team has had so far. And it's really cool that, you know, to be in the position that we're in right now.
What are you able to do to combat Miami's
You know, we have a great, you know, plan in place for that. You know, our offensive line is really good. You know, I trust my guys up front. They've played amazing this whole year. But just like I said, you know, have a mental timer in my head of, you know, when they're going to be in the backfield. I kind of feel that pressure a little bit. You know, get rid of the ball quickly, you know, to help my offensive line out.
What were your thoughts when you caught on the film of Miami's defense to see Bane and Nestor kind of getting after it?
That they're dudes, you know, they're studs, you know, that they got guys, and, you know, they love football. You can just tell how they play, and just know that, you know, it's going to be a great battle.
Does Miami's defense remind you of anyone you've played this year?
I would probably say South Carolina, you know, Dylan Stewart. He's a great pass rusher, so that kind of reminds me of, you know, their defensive line. And then also Oklahoma, you know, their defensive line, and, you know, their edge rushers as well.
From your experience last year, going to a playoff, playing a national championship to help guide you as you kind of go through this grind now?
Can you repeat that?
How much do you pull from last year, going through the two playoffs, to what you're doing now for, you know, certain things you face?
Yeah, I would say just had that same mindset that I had at Ferris, you know, in the playoffs, and that was to win and do whatever it takes to win. It's a different season, you know, in the playoffs, because your season's on the line, and you're not guaranteed another game. And there's only one team that's, you know, happy at the end of the year, and, you know, we want to be that team.
Last waiver question. Tom Mars used the phrase irreparable harm in the letter he sent about a week and a half ago about that. And look, you have the opportunity to make a lot of money playing college football next year. You didn't have that same opportunity this year. Just what would that opportunity mean to you to be able to play in college here and, you know, make top 10 quarterback money?
Yeah, it would mean a lot. Not everything is about money, but that sure does help. And for me to, you know, be in the position that I'm right now, all the, you know, hard work and sacrifice that I put in to get to where I am right now, I feel like I've earned that. And I feel like, you know, with the waiver being approved, I've earned the right to, you know, have, you know, the success or whatever comes with it. And that if it's NIL or any other things, then so be it. And yeah, I feel like it's, yeah.